Okay, we are live. Welcome, everybody, to Toaru podcast number 19. And we are going to talk about the legendary item spin-off, which just came out last month. And we have nearly had a level 5 spin-off. But all of them, we've had Dark Matter, we've had obviously Railgun, we've had Shokohose, Mental Out, and now, while it's not called a certain scientific meltdowner, it is the item spin-off. So who knows when we'll get the other ones. But yeah, happy Easter everyone, and welcome to the podcast. And today I am joined by the regular veteran, Malcolm.
Yay.
So enthusiastic on Easter.
Yeah.
Someone didn't get their chocolate eggs.
I didn't get my chocolate eggs. I'm very upset. I gave them up to come here.
Oh, what a shame. And we were also joined by a newcomer, Fullmetal. Welcome.
Feels so strange to be in a podcast of yours, not gonna lie.
Hey.
Also, thank God, 4 years of being in this fandom and I finally got the spin-off I wanted.
Yeah, I mean, Mugano definitely has had a decent following of fans over the years. While, like, some people might prefer Misako or Accelerator, she's always had a smaller audience, a smaller core fandom. But yeah, I mean, obviously we're very happy with this spin-off because it was so good, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if the chat box is working. The infamous chat box curse has struck us. But I will rectify that, hopefully, right now. But while I do that, do you guys just want to talk about your general thoughts of the volume?
Yeah, sure. It was for me, I enjoyed the volume a good deal. I liked the second half much more than the first half. The first half was a bit slow for me. More just sort of, I guess everything between, just about setting up the Coliseum stuff was sort of boring to me. But once we sort of introduced the other item, it picked up and I enjoyed it a lot more from there. But a lot of crazy things like we learned and were foreshadowed. But yeah, I was pretty happy with the volume overall.
Nice.
Honestly, I had no expectations for what an item spin-off could have been about, honestly. Personally, I actually enjoyed it. Although the first time reading in Japanese was pretty wild.
Wow, you read it in
Read
Japanese?
it in Japanese?
Yep. That's how I first read it.
Damn.
Yeah.
How's the experience different between the JS06 translation and sort of your interaction with it?
Honestly, it's not that bad. It's mostly accurate. Though I remember I had to read some things early on just to fix it.
Okay. Fascinating.
It's cool that you are now a true weeb, now that you can experience the authentic index gospel in the way it was meant to be read.
Indeed.
And we have revived the chat box. Woo! Let's go.
It's an Easter miracle.
I know. I don't know why. Like, it never works, like, before the stream. It's like I have to reset it every time I go live, which is annoying. But I will ask Ophinus because Ophinus uses the chat box a lot in his live streams, so I'm sure he'll be able to help me out with that. So, future streams, fingers crossed, it won't happen again, because it's really annoying. Although I probably should change the usernames to a more bright colour, which would be good. But yeah, for me, like I said in my item review video, similar to what you said, Fullmetal, I didn't know what to really expect going into this because I guess I've been used to like the railgun side story novels, like the one that came out for the 15th anniversary, which wasn't that great. So that's where my expectations were. Yeah. And thankfully,
I've heard it was so mid, like so mixed that I never even touched it. Still,
yeah, honestly, you're not missing out on much.
Yeah, it was such a most of the stories are really boring. I thought Kuroko's and Ueharu's, or not Ueharu, Ueharu's stories, I like couldn't care less. I like the Satan one a bit because it was short, and just short comedic. The Makoto storyline, I did not like that one. It was so it was so weird. It's just like she was out of character. It's just like, calling the villain girl at the very end, where she's like, "You're actually pretty cool." It was like, what are you talking about? She just tried to like genocide your teachers.
Yeah, I know
because her horse
Academy City.
died.
Yeah.
It was so weird. It wasn't good. I would dare say it was bad.
Bizarre was probably the word I'd probably come up with.
Yeah,
describe it.
I did have more hope for this one though, because I think Kamachi tends to write darker settings better.
Yeah, I mean, the tone of this volume was on point, really. I think some people had doubts going into it because of the art style, as I've previously mentioned. But nope, this had zero chill. Like Mugano, wow. I mean, we can talk about it more in detail once we get to like the individual chapters and everything. Well, there was like 2 cases of like torture in this volume. I mean, Mugano was just melting people down. The way it was described as well, like that there was no trace of them remaining, like no blood or anything. It was like, damn,
yeah,
it really sets that tone.
But then you remember, yep, there's a reason why she's called Meltdowner.
For real, and it's not something you often think about until you're seeing it right in front of you. Okay, let me just find this settings for this. I'm not sure if I can change it at the moment. Oh well, it's fine. It'll do for now. Anyway, shall we talk about the prologue?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, let's get my notes for the prologue, of course. Gotta be prepared.
Imagine taking notes.
Okay, listen, I'm getting older. My memory is fading. I need to have the visual cue so I can jog my brain full of jargon. Because, there's only so many index volumes you can fit in this head. There's a lot of them, okay? So, even the new volumes, I'm like, oh, what happened again? So
That's just... I used to be able to remember, like, everyone's names and everything.
Oh, yeah,
like,
me
no
too.
problem. But, like, nowadays, it's like, and then there was the villain in the Golem Girl, like... It used to just...
All the names I usually forget about are all the ones the ones that show for like a volume or probably dead in like one scene or whatever.
Yeah, with Kamachi.
Like I can't remember anyone in like say Member or Block anymore.
Block, yeah, I hardly remembered them to even begin with, since they never really did anything after that book.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, you got the Professor, you got, is it Megami? Is it? the military girl, soldier girl. Then you got, what's that? God. Then there's like the ones that don't even matter that I'm struggling to remember at the moment.
They were like so unimportant, just the anime removed them entirely almost.
I mean, you got like Baba.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, the soldier girl was in Block, wasn't she? Yeah.
Yeah,
she was.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
I was like going to go, no, I remember all of them, but I'm just a fraud.
Fake fan.
I know. People are going to call me out. It's okay. At least I remember most of everything that's happening in GT at the moment. But that's not what we're talking about. We're going to talk about item. And the volume opens up, and it's just straight into the action. Item attack the Dark May Project Lab. And of course, yeah, by the way, guys, this is going to have spoilers in it, as I previously advertised. If you don't want to be spoiled on it, well, tough luck, because we're going to talk about everything in this volume. But if you like spoilers, then this is for you.
Oh, I better go.
Come on, man. You've read it. Stop trolling. So, yeah, they attack the Dark May Project Lab. Where they discover, well, they're just melting everyone. Well, at least Mugano is. Just wrecking the place up, which is nice to see.
The way Mugino always does everything.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, she's the heavy hitter. I mean, Frenda also, like, in this volume, had, you know, a lot of times to shine with showing off, like, how destructive she can be with her bombs and stuff. But, yeah, of course, when you got Mugano, there's not much she... It's like throwing Darth Vader in there or something. Like, got no chance, have you? But, yeah, they're melting the scientists, and they, like, briefly, like, interrogate this one guy, and they discover Kinu Hata in an incubation tube, and Koryoru as well. What do you guys think of that?
That I did not expect them to sort of like give us the backstory for, I guess, the tragic end of the Dark May project. It was really interesting. I never really thought about, or I never like considered Mugino playing a direct role in like how that experiment sort of ended and why Kuno, like, I don't know, I never put one and one together for why Kinohata would even be an item like that.
I was just surprised that we got more we got stuff about Dark May project overall in this whole thing, considering how much it had been hidden prior.
Yeah, I mean, it all links together, doesn't it? I definitely wasn't expecting, like, Kinohata to have that connection to where, oh yeah, Koryoru was also in the lab at the same time when Item storm it, and that's how they then recruit Kinohata into their little dark side group, just because she was the defensive expert. It's like the two crossroads of fate. You can either go one direction or the other. It just so happened, oh, we need a defensive oriented Esper, because it's like, we have Meltdown and we don't need another offensive Esper, even though Kinohata's ability is called Offense Armor. It's more of a defensive ability, ironically.
Yeah. It's like going, you mentioning that, it's something I really liked about this book is we sort of see how Item sort of works as a party. Like it goes into depth more in how like their formations work, like even like positions in which they stand whenever they like raid and go through and move. So learning like, as Kamachi sort of like goes into depth with how they sort of handle missions, it sort of makes sense and feels natural that they would have added Kinohata for the defense. Like, because it feels like it's displayed in the book why that was necessary for them, rather than just saying, we need defense, and then never really utilizing that point.
Yeah, I agree. What do you think, Fullmetal?
Honestly, I was actually impressed with how they was like, hey, we got Kinohata here. I wasn't sure what they were gonna. Let's see, how do I put this? It was kind of cool to see how they were able to get Kinohata as part of their formation really quickly. Like, I could tell the whole time they're reading this volume, all four of them have really good chemistry, and you could tell, they're a group. Like, you can buy some of the dynamics they had, like in the current index volumes, for example.
Yeah, I agree completely. It all just links together nicely, doesn't it? And it's ironic that because Koryoru got shafted in this moment, she was the one who was left behind and basically scapegoated for destroying this lab
Yeah, that was interesting.
That ties into a origin story in NT1.
Mm-hmm.
Just gonna send out a Discord notification in case anyone hasn't seen the stream. There we go. Okay, yeah, and it's mad because like they were ordered to go here to attack this lab, and then they make their escape. And then, oh yeah, Yomikawa also comes in, so Yomikawa makes a brief cameo in this volume. And yeah, they were ordered by the higher-ups to destroy the data of the Dark Maid project as well. So that's how it basically ended. So it's perhaps because of the failure of the project that it wasn't able to produce another accelerator that it was stopped, and Item were the ones behind that. So I think that's a great, like, it ties more of the lore together. I think it gives us more answers and makes it more cohesive, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes everything feel like it's all tied together in a very natural way. Like the cities, Dark Maid Project didn't just end because the dark side ended it, or like something happened on the dark side. Like you could have just easily wrote just something off screen, like, oh, it ended because dark side destruction, just that kind of stuff. But Kamachi always somehow manages to be like, oh yeah, remember this event? Well, actually, it's tied directly to these characters here, and it leads into this character's story arc while going into these characters' formation, and it's wild how everything is interlinked. It makes the city feel very real in that way.
Very true, very true. Yeah, one thing I also wrote in my notes is that, yeah, Kinuhata's obviously been treated as a lab rat, like many Academy City students. Been treated like absolute crap, even more so in the Dark Maid project, where they were doing more, controversial experiments on the subjects by, forcing accelerators' brain waves and brain patterns and thought patterns into their own brains. And then
on that, it was kind of interesting to know that while she was in Dark Maid project, the one thing they allowed them to do was watch movies and stuff. So it made sense of her whole interest in seeing these B/C rated movies. It's a small detail that didn't have to be there, but they managed to make it really sense and fits her character pretty well.
Yeah, I think that reference is mentioned later on. I think chapter 3 when I was rereading it.
I remember it was whenever they were jogging, right?
Oh, was it chapter 2? Chapter 2. Sorry, yeah.
It was chapter 2.
Yeah, my bad. One chapter off. I'm sure you'll all forgive me.
Fake fan.
Oh, come on. Cut me some slack. All right. But no, I mean, imagine having an explanation for Kinuhata's weird B and C movie addiction. It's only in Index that happens.
I whenever they went to the theater for their mission briefing, and it sort of showed her sort of being not quite mesmerized, but very intrigued by the setting and sort of fueling her desire to go to the movies to watch those watch those. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, and it's the movies that she was forced to watch with the rest of the kids in the Dark Maid project were brainwashing movies that had subliminal messages in them, which is bruh, because these kids wouldn't have been able to go outside and just be happy, live normally, and the only entertainment they had, because they weren't allowed toys either, because they might use them to kill people with.
Afraid of what they would do with them.
Yeah, exactly. So they just got sat in front of a screen and just watched these corruptive movies, which is it's just as not everything needs to be blood and guts to make dark in inverted commas. Just that just does great things for, well, not great things for the fictional kids, but great things for the tone of the story and the lore as well, I think.
Absolutely.
Just building the world even further in Academy City, which is brilliant. And yeah,
It sort of explains her sort of emotionless detachment almost.
And do you think that's why? Because obviously, when Kinohata is seen in Railgun, she's a bit different to how we see her in Index.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. So my theory is that her transition between how she was in Railgun to Index is probably something related to Hamazura. Because it was such a small time frame between then, and really the only major event that we know of that could have taken place was Hamazura joining. But I mean, like, in a way, I guess it's interesting because she's sort of similar personality wise to Ringo. In that sort of distant, emotionless way, but like these simple things really like get to them.
yeah, well said. And she gets introduced to Item's luxury apartment. It sounds really nice. I'd like to go there. And yeah, like night and day compared to what she's been used to. So that basically compels her to say, okay, these people have freed me, but since this is such a nice place and it's like being in a millionaire's mansion compared to what she's been used to for most of her life.
Yeah.
So why not stay and join Item?
Yeah, and I think that it was just she generally just didn't have anything else she could do.
Yeah,
Like,
nowhere to go.
That's the sad thing about those who are just abandoned in the city. You really don't have much of a choice, so you're stuck with the dark side, or you're just
yeah,
screwed in general.
yeah, it's just sort of the inescapable hand of the dark side.
Yeah.
Sounds like a Star Wars reference to me.
Yeah, well, that's just you being
Being a nerd.
being a nerd. Yeah,
Shut up, nerd.
I was looking for something meaner, but you know, nerd's good enough.
Go back to Disney, Star Wars nerd.
Yeah. Yeah, why don't you go watch episode 7, nerd?
Darth Disney. Anyway. So, at the end of the prologue, we get little profiles for each member of Item in case you don't know who they are. But there's one thing I noticed. It kind of like hints at Takitsubo's potential to become a level 5, because it's like, it says something like it needs like authorization from like a number of board of directors to actually access like additional information about her ability on the bank, I think. So I think that was a definite hint to Takitsubo's potential.
Yeah. There was something I took note, or I like remembered from the. I gotta see if I can find it. I remembered like noting something interesting about the between the lines, or those like profiles they did, but I can't quite remember what it was. But I noticed. I don't know.
Was
I'll
it
try and
Fender being
find
level 0?
That one did not surprise me.
Yeah, I sort of expected Frenda to be level 0
Yeah.
just because it seemed like, I mean, unless there was some sort of spatial ability she had for keeping her stuff packed away, but I don't know. I'll find it.
Yeah, although I think the Railgun editor confirmed that she was level 0 anyway, but yeah, I mean, I think everyone knew she was going to be. It wasn't really.
I feel like I already knew she was level 0 before being told that.
Yeah, I think so as well. Like, I always just viewed her as a level 0 because it's like, why have we not heard anything about like her ability? Like, surely we would have seen it. Like,
I just always assumed she was a level 0 because she was always relying on her own explosions and whatnot.
yeah, I mean, she could use that in conjunction with that, but
And
since she
then we
didn't,
never saw a hint of her using an ability, them ever mentioning an ability or anything.
yeah, exactly, yeah. Okay, shall we move on to chapter 1, or is there anything else you want to add?
Nah,
Mal or
Nope,
Paul?
I'm good.
Nope. Okay.
let's just get to the main stuff.
Yeah, why not? We can't dwell on the prologue forever. Oh yeah, we get
There was
sorry.
something I remembered from chapter 1. They made Big Spider canon.
Oh yeah, Korozuma got a little reference.
Yeah,
Hell
the
yeah.
only index anime filler that was worth making canon.
Yep. I was so
Hell
happy
yeah.
they made that canon.
Same.
It
We
still
just-
doesn't make up for the Railgun light novel making all the other stuff canon.
That feels so surreal, though.
Oh, we just need an epic Korozuma return. Just drinking like a jug of Musashino milk and just like, I know. What if in GT they just get him to take on like the Bridge Builders Cabal or something? I think that's a fair matchup.
Solos, Alice.
Yeah, why not? I mean, he can dodge bullets for no reason. He's meant to have level 0. You just like take on like a giant group of guys like nothing. Just the power of the milk.
Yeah.
Wait, you don't dodge bullets after drinking a nice fresh cup of milk?
Oh, I wish.
Yeah.
I do like my milk, but oh god. Okay. Yeah, we get Mugano's butler. Yeah, ringing her up.
I recall chapter covers for like Railgun's manga. We saw like there was like a man right behind a child
Yeah.
version of Mugano. And I
Yeah,
was
she was like
wondering,
on a throne or
oh,
something.
what the heck is that about? And then this confirmed.
We
She
Yeah.
finally have
was a
answers.
daughter of a not Yakuza group, apparently.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she does her family business is like something really mundane, but like because of how like cutthroat it sort of is, like you sort of are forced into they're like sort of forced into this dark side of like business dark side. So it seems like just being on the dark side in general is natural for Mugino.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's her family have traded in wheat since like the Meiji period or
wheat.
something
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah, yes. And
Yeah.
the butler has a name. His name is Mujina Yama.
Yeah, that's what
Oh.
I was looking for.
Don't worry, I've got all the details here. Aeon with the
Oh,
clutch.
great.
But yeah, it's like, so yeah, like, as you mentioned, they basically do the criminal activity on the side, but they're like one of the 5 most wealthy families in Japan or the world or something crazy as well, which is
Something
mad.
like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Like that. And I'm just going, Jesus Christ, that explains how they're able to afford all these luxury apartments and whatnot.
Until her accounts get turned off, because that's just, I guess she can't tap into her family's wealth for just about anything.
Yeah.
Not a age yet.
Oh yeah, they do go clothes shopping as well, don't they? Brenda and Kinohata, since Kinohata doesn't have any clothes because she was in
Oh
the
man,
lab.
it makes sense. I mean, it
Because
makes
those
She's
sense.
being written by Kazuma Kamachi.
Yep, it makes
I
sense,
mean, it
Kamachi.
makes sense. You were kind of in a lab rat for so long, you kind of want to have normal clothes to just walk around in.
Yep, I think that's fair. Yeah. But yeah, I
Brenda
really
almost
like
got
the.
screwed.
Oh god, sorry.
Brenda had to be saved by the power of prepaid cards.
Ah yes. In that little scene, which wasn't too important, but it existed. I didn't really make any
I
notes for
kind
that.
of
To be
thought
fair.
it led to the one thing though, as like why their account was kind of fished, why the money issue they were kind of having.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I guess that was
think it relates
somewhat a recurring plot point.
I think it was the other item, sort of.
Yeah,
Something
or
on
as I
their
called
end.
them, or as I called them, the imposter item.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. We need some sort of, I don't know if there's like a fan name for that people go with for their group.
I know.
What group?
The other item.
I just call it like new item. I think they're called new item at one point, aren't they? Or am I remembering
I
it
don't know.
wrong?
I don't
I don't-
know. I don't remember that.
I don't think they were called new item. They just claimed they were quote unquote item.
I'd just call
Okay,
them a counterfeit item.
maybe that's my headcanon. I just call them, all right, this is the old item, which I know. This is new item. Right, that's probably what it is. God. Headcanon infiltrating into real canon. Can't happen.
No, well, I read in this fan fiction.
Was it Lizard Heroics by any chance?
No, nothing as masterful as that.
Aw.
Anyway, we get introduced to what is known as the Coliseum, but it's not the ancient Roman Coliseum. It's
Oh
basically
yeah, didn't we also have a certain new girl that joined up in chapter 1 anyways?
Yes. We got Hanano. But we can talk about Hanano. Do you want to talk about Coliseum or Hanano first?
Which came first? I think they did the
Oh,
God,
chicken or the egg?
Coliseum and then Hanano.
Yeah, we met Hanano first, and then we were told about the Coliseum stuff after.
Okay, that's fine. Well, we can talk about Hanano. Chicken or the egg? Fair enough. Hanano. Hanano. What do you guys think of Hanano? What do you think of her?
What a sweet, innocent girl who was forced into the dark side against her own volition. She's just so unfortunate.
Bro, not gonna lie, I was standing her hard. Like, well, I still kind of do. Like, she's great.
Same here.
I love her.
Yeah. I felt like I was like, oh, okay, we're gonna get prepared. She's gonna have this tragic story about how her misfortune sort of forced her into this situation, and I'm gonna feel bad for her, and I'm gonna want the best for her. Didn't happen.
By the way, we just got a super chat.
Full...
Sorry. We just got a super chat from Dark. Thank you very much. He says, "Keep up the amazing Toaru content. Hanano best girl. Thank you." There we go.
Honestly, I thought she was gonna have the most tragic backstory that we kept getting for some of the Dark Side members. Oh, I was experimented on by a bunch of people, and I blah 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 blah, that kind of thing.
Like, it talked about how unlucky she was, or how she's always at the wrong place at the wrong time or something. I can't remember how exactly Komachi put it, but like, I was expecting, like, oh yeah, she keeps going places, and the dark side just always happens to be there, and it forced her into the movement or whatever. But
yeah, I thought perhaps the same. Like, maybe she was like, I don't know, just found her way into it. I guess like some people do. I mean, she's very skillful. Like, you kind of don't realize how skillful she is when she joins, which is what I think so great about her character. It's like, it kind of like, I hate to use the buzzword, or buzz quote, subverts your expectations, but I think Hanano is the epitome of that. Like,
Honestly, she surprised me because I wasn't expecting honestly, before I even looked at the spin-off itself, I wasn't expecting if there was supposed to be a former member that joined before Hamazura did.
Yeah, well, she was like...
I always just assumed there was always just 4 members of them. Never Hanano or anything like that.
Yeah, it was interesting that it was just 3 members, and then they got Kinohana, and then, like, coincidentally, oh, can you take this girl too? It wasn't what I was expecting her character to be, just based off the cover whenever I saw her there. I sort of expected her to either, like, be the villain or to be some sort of, like, character they were bodyguarding or something.
Honestly, at first I thought that she was going to betray the group for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of got that vibe.
Her inner monologue, inner monologues, like, it's like quintessential unreliable narrator, or whatever it's called, where she does a really good job of sort of gaslighting the reader into thinking her personality is what it's portrayed as at the beginning.
Although I think Dark in the chat has not read all the
Yeah.
volume. So, Dark, I think you might want to... well, you can continue watching if you don't mind to get spoiled, but...
We'll get there. We'll get there when we get there.
Yeah, I guess so, because there is going to be some huge spoilers about Hanano. I won't say what it is, but
Yeah.
just put it out there.
But from the time she was spending with Item, it felt pretty nice, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The
Dark
item
Mass
we
doesn't
see
mind
in this
spoilers.
book is not what I was. Okay. All right, good. Because I saw that message and I was sort of like, I don't want to say straight up what her
Yeah.
deal is, maybe until we get to that reveal
Yeah.
chronologically.
We'll get there.
But seeing how Item sort of interacts, we get some more slice of life of like this pre-battle royale Item. It was really interesting to see sort of how their relationships are much more, I guess, ironclad than I thought they were.
Mhm.
Some almost to a fault in a way because of we'll get to it
happening.
later, but
Yeah.
there were some weird things where I felt like maybe at times it felt like they were a bit too close and Mugino was a bit too like dependable on friendship. It was really weird, but we'll get to it when we get to it.
Yeah.
Hmm. Now, shall we talk about the Coliseum? Or is there anything else you want to
Yep.
mention about Hanano? I mean,
Yeah,
I
think
probably
we're
talk...
good.
Yeah, I probably...
We'll get there when we get. We'll continue when we get.
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, I mean... Yeah, I mean... I just thought Hanano was like... Her personality, like in chapter 1, even then I was like quite engaged in her character, and I feel like it just progressed every chapter. She just got more and more entertaining and endearing. I won't say much more for now. You gotta stay to the end of the podcast and like the video.
Yeah.
Like the video so everyone can see it.
So
All right.
Coliseum.
Sorry?
Yeah, the Coliseum's a thing.
Yeah, Coliseum.
The Coliseum, right?
Yeah. Okay, we'll talk about Coliseum. Okay, gladiators ready, contestants ready. We are going to the Coliseum. It is a fighting arena which is underground, and it's not in a... I don't think it's in like a specific location every time. It's kind of remote, so it happens in one location and it'll go to a different location another time, so it never stays in one place, from what I gather. And they also live stream the event on like the dark web, I think, because it's not something you can probably easily find. And yeah, you get to watch Espers fight to the death for a cash prize if you win. What do you guys think about the Coliseum, or the concept of it?
I thought it was.
Not gonna lie, the idea of this existing in Academy City does not surprise me whatsoever.
Yeah, I've always sort of wondered if Kim would ever do sort of like this Esper Fight Club sort of thing. Like it's passed or crossed through my mind before. So
Oh,
are we about to get a tournament arc?
I think you were cutting out then, Mal.
Oh, did I?
Briefly, yeah.
Can you hear me?
Sadly.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought we were about to go into like a tournament arc, with I don't know Mugino or somebody taking part. That's what I was half expecting, but the Coliseum ultimately became like a non-issue almost in the story.
Yeah, that's true, to be fair.
Considering what happens in actuality in said Coliseum, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I guess when I first read about it, I didn't mention this in my review, by the way, but yeah, kind of similar to what Mal mentioned. I don't know if I was expecting like a tournament arc or something, but maybe something similar to Baggage City, like NT4, with because that was kind of like a tournament kind of thing as well. But even that didn't fully flesh out. That kind of just got brushed to the side for the other stuff.
Yeah,
Hamachi
nobody
isn't
even,
really-
even like took part.
I
So
feel like Hamachi isn't the kind of guy who would just write a tournament arc. He'll just do it just to bait the readers. Just check out what in reality actually happens.
Yeah, for real.
yeah, I don't think he's like out of all of his books. I don't even think he's ever written a proper tournament arc. I can't think of a single
did
occasion
with-
where he did.
He kind of did with Apocalypse Witch 4, but all the MC did there was
yeah.
beat people up with a flashlight.
Oh yeah, that's
He's-
true.
It was kind of weird.
I'll pretend like I know what you're talking about.
That's because you should be reading more books, Aeon.
Well, how can I read books when I'm making videos?
Well,
it's not possible.
Well, Kamachi gave you a 6-month break of Index.
Oh,
That's-
I need to find an
yeah.
excuse. At my bag. Excuse. Where's my list of excuses?
I don't know how to read.
I read this.
And the
Come
cost-
on. I read.
I had
read
to have
all-
my mom read the books to me.
No, come on. She needs glasses. I
Besides, I think
don't. Blind as a bat. I've got 50k vision probably, whatever the best is.
2020.
Yeah. I'm not an optician. I'm just a guy who makes anime videos on YouTube, of course. And a melon in my current phase.
Right.
Melon of Horus. Anyway, what was I going to say? I've lost my train of thought now. Thanks to you, Mel. Screw you.
You're welcome.
Oh, yeah, about, like, yeah, like, I didn't know if they were going to go in, like, well, I guess they did kind of disrupt the Coliseum matches and stuff later on, which we'll get onto.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was expecting it to have a bit more of a focus, but hey, I'm not complaining. I like the direction the volume went.
You could have had item versus item tournament arc at the Coliseum.
I feel like a tournament arc with Mugino would just have Mugino one shot about everybody and she wins at the end.
Well, it took her a minute
Yeah.
to beat the girl on the little scooter.
I know.
Just aim at
That
the
was
roof.
such a weird, like, I don't know. Whenever Kamachi was like explaining how that one girl fought, before she got vaporized, I was just sort of like imagining like a girl riding like a little moped or something and just mental out trying to hit it. It was so funny.
Not gonna lie, I had that same image too when I was reading that in Japanese. That just made it more hilarious.
So, the Coliseum is, I think, funded or partially funded by this life insurance company, and it's kind of hard to
I mean,
explain, I guess, in a call or a
kind of-
podcast.
I mean, it's kind of hilarious that a life insurance company funds a tournament that could Coliseum that probably can harm people.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, isn't life insurance just for like OAPs? But I guess when you're
Well, I
like
saw-
dying constantly,
I-
you'd probably need it. I don't know.
I sort of thought the life insurance was an indirect party. Like,
Mm.
the idea was the management would have them take out life insurance policies, and naturally, the life insurance company wouldn't be fully aware of why it was. Because I'm pretty sure the guy said he found out the person who hired them like found out about the Coliseum through some sort of personal investigation or something. I can't remember.
Mm. Yeah, you're probably right. It's way easy to explain if you read the novel. And plus, talking about life insurance is not the most exciting thing in the world, I think,
Yeah.
to be honest. Who cares about money, life insurance? Boring.
Yeah.
But
Who needs money when you're dead?
Yeah, I mean, it's true. But I guess it's important for the plot 'cause it's like, okay, they're like, because they get like hired by the life insurance company, don't they? But instead they don't end up
Yeah.
going through with their demands. They instead like go against the life insurance company to try and get the bigger slice of the pie, the jackpot, which belongs to the Coliseum management. So they're basically using this as a way to track down the Coliseum to to get there and then seize the money that they've got physically there. So we also have like Kinuhata and Hanano as the new recruits, and they're competing against each other to become a permanent member of Item.
Yes. Which, I mean, didn't really have to read the book to figure out who won.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's kind of clear.
Fair point. And also we get multiple nods to the Dark Side's Bane. And I think that's the first time they've ever been called that. But what that is it's Aihana Etsu, or the number 6. But now they've got another alias, Dark Side's Bane. What do you guys think about that? And what transpired later?
I thought it was really cool to like learn about it. I'm sort of disappointed with how it was ultimately implemented. Which I'll get into whenever we introduce that character, but
Which will be whenever we get to chapter 2.
yeah.
Honestly, for me, the idea of the number 6 level 5 Esper being like this here guy who takes down the whole dark side kind of makes sense in principle.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense he would be like this mysterious figure that works in the shadows, almost. Just based off how we've seen his power so far.
Yeah, and I guess it also like harkens back to Kano Shinka as well in NT12.
Yeah.
Where he's like given that, he decides to adopt Aihana's name as a way to go like try and find out what happened to Frenda, I guess, and take on the dark side in that way, I suppose, and stand up to others. So I guess Aihana Etsu is seen as the lifeline that many Espers use in those kind of situations, because I do remember like in, I think that same volume, someone else uses the name like to scare off some like skill out bugs or whatever, because they think, oh, he's the level 5, number 6 level 5. So yeah, I guess that's where the kind of legend may have, come from, or how it developed, I suppose, to people using the name. Why people are so scared of it.
Yep.
So, shall we move on to the action?
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah. So they kind of like track down. What is it? One of the managers for the insurance company, I think, or
The one that
executive?
hired them.
Yeah, the one that hired him, and she is. Well, not she. It's a dude. But yeah. Kozaki Mitori is there.
There was something
There we
random,
go.
like, yeah, like, apparently her, the one thing in, like, the railgun thing where it's like, oh yeah, she used her ability, and you're going, oh, okay. And we see her trying to destroy the wilderness building of all things.
Yeah, it was really cool to see her. I felt like she was pretty. It almost felt like she was buffed for this fight.
She had prep. A lot of prep.
Yeah.
I think.
But yeah, it was really cool,
Very
even if it
fun.
was somewhat short-lived.
It's always nice to see a character that's originated in, like, one spin-off enter another spin-off.
Feels like
Yeah.
she's been in everything at the moment. She's in Mental Out as well.
Yeah, she plays sort of a passive role in this story. Like after this, like she doesn't get completely forgotten because what she does actually attack the windowless building or something.
Off screen.
I know, that
but
was
it's
just-
off screen, yeah.
But
Like
was
it
kinda
deflects
s-
resources from whoever. Oh,
Yeah.
it's the reason that the cleaners aren't able to work.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
What were you trying to say, Full Metal?
That's just kind of funny to know that somebody tried to attack the windowless building a whole year before it literally got destroyed in the novels themselves.
Yeah,
Ooh,
true.
Yes. New Testament spoilers. But yeah, hopefully you've read New Testament, guys. If you haven't, what are you doing? Won't say how.
What's wrong?
If they haven't, they should have just watched your that one recap you made of it.
Yeah, that's true. The NT18 video, yeah, there you go. There's the volume. That's a great point. Yeah. Well, yeah. What do you guys think of the fight itself? Because I think it was like kind of cool, like the set pieces it used, because you had like these like planes or something above, and they dropped like a crap ton of liquid metal darts, and they were like in this like this tunnel or underpass, I think, and they just got completely shredded through like the momentum, and then all the cars got peppered.
Yeah.
And like some random civilians died, and then she had like these drone knives, which were like homing attack knives, and multiple shadow metal puppets. Not shadow metal. Is it shadow metal? Liquid metal. Shadow metal is the rare substance.
It was like a
Liquid shadow.
It's her usual. Her shadow metal, I think. Can't recall.
No, shadow isn't shadow metal the rare metal that?
Yeah, that's the one that's like all the Esper's abilities.
Is it liquid shadow?
Apparently.
How confusing is that? They're so similar.
Her ability is liquid shadow.
That's so confusing. What the hell?
This is why Kamachi should remember that they do not have terminologies that sound similar to one another. It makes people confused.
For real.
I mean, he's just throwing around English words you can find in an English dictionary and be like, this just sounds cool. The liquid shadow.
I mean, it does sound cool.
True.
Honestly, for a popcorn like entertainment fight, the fight was cool.
Yeah. I mean, Frenda had a pretty active role in it. I think this was like the most she had to do in terms of fights going in the novel.
It was sort of the most complex fight in the novel. Like, I feel like this is the fight that's sort of like none of the other fights really compared in terms of scope to this one.
Maybe, but I like the final fight because that had a lot of
the final fight,
tactics back and forth and that. Like, and the set pieces for like the final fight as well was like just. I guess this fight also did as well because the environment was used, I feel like, in creative ways, but especially in the final fight, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it kind of like explains why, because obviously you could just say, oh, why doesn't Mugano not just blast Mitori straight away? But yeah, she's kind of like distracted, and I guess she does for a brief moment let Frenda do the work, but then she's like, okay, now it's my time to help out when she wasn't, being distracted or whatever. But yeah, I think the technology was cool with the drone knives. That was I like the concept behind them, and then I think Frenda gets like hit by one of them at one point. She's trying to defend against them. But I also liked how Meltdowner, because it's like it uses electrons and it atomizes, it changed the molecular structure of Mitori's liquid shadow. And therefore it wasn't able to regenerate, which I thought was cool science, Kamachi. Cool science. Science rules.
Yeah, I'm always a sucker when Kamachi goes for these like alternative means of using their powers to sort of disrupt the fights. It's hard to predict, which makes it more exciting.
Yeah. Nice. And also, it was a very brief moment, but I think this is what made me like Hanano even more, was the Hanano, two parts. The Hanano surprise attack where because Mugano's like, oh, you forgot about Hanano, didn't you? And Hanano like disguised herself as a dead body because she's I'm not sure if we mentioned it before, but Hanano's specialty is like to disguise herself as pretty much anyone. Like she does it all cosmetically. She can like change her voice as well using these technology and makeup. She uses a lot of makeup to basically disguise herself. So she basically just comes out of nowhere. Like I guess she managed to hide herself and then pretend to be a corpse, and then just stabs Mitori, which forces Mitori to get away. But that was the moment. It's like, okay, don't treat this girl as a joke. She may be like timid, but she is capable, and she. You like if you sleep on her, you will get screwed, and I think this was the perfect example.
Yeah, I was sort of curious how they would implement her into a fight, but the way they showed it there, it sort of like clicked for me how she's more strategically useful but I could sort of
Yes.
see how she was usable for a group like Item beyond just intelligence.
Yes. Yeah, because I think Mugano had doubts at first, obviously, because it's like the voice over the phone said, "Oh, Hanano's this infiltration specialist. She's quite technical in that." But I think Mugano was like, "Really? This girl who's like kind of shy and doesn't seem like she belongs in the dark side?" But I guess this cemented it that she has her set of skills. And the second moment where she's the only member of Item who I think finds a flower and then puts it where the civilians were that died, even though the whole scene is going to get cleaned up by the Item support group that hide the evidence of like deaths and basically removes all trace of them being there because they don't want anyone to track them down. And obviously they work for the higher ups as well, so they don't want to get accused of anything like supporting crime. So, were you trying to say something, Full?
Yeah.
Yes, the good old classic sneak attack. Disguising yourself as one of the dead, and then you just trick your opponent.
Gets them every time.
Oldest trick in the book.
Indeed it does.
But yeah, I like that somber moment. It just felt like Hanano was like different to the other members of Item, but I guess she was worse, as we like to find out. But in that moment, I was like, "Damn, this is really just that is." It was only like a few lines long, but it was like, "Damn, I really appreciate that moment for Komachi."
Yeah, I sort of felt like bad for her during that because like up to that point, it's like, oh, she's such like this sort of pure and innocent girl who's sort of forced into this situation. I can't imagine how she would feel having to fight like this.
Yeah. True. Okay, and then we move on to the torture scene, or well, we don't get a full torture scene. It's just it kind of cuts away, but so they get the manager of the company who's freaking out because Mugano's like, "I can just like melt you, and you'll just be a black stain on the wall, maybe." But friend is like,
Not gonna lie.
"Oh, go on."
Not gonna lie, if this is one of your first spin-offs like to Toaru, imagine how many people are caught off guard at knowing how Mugano approaches things. Considering
True.
about how every other main lead in this wouldn't resort to torture or anything.
I mean, Accelerator would.
Yeah.
I mean, not in his manga, not in his own series. He's
Not in his own spin-off.
I don't think anybody would expect anything of Accelerator from that. So,
well, I guess the only moment was where he was fighting like the what do you call them, the scavenger girls, and then he was like, "I'll mess with your bioelectricity for a bit," or actually, I think he did like do that as well to like some DA member, but that wasn't like really like that wasn't really much, to be honest, for Accelerator standards. I mean, we have him in high regard, but yeah, he was just a bit too good in that like spin-off, because like later on we see him like in the timeline. I mean, he'll kill the hound dogs and enjoy it very much so with no problems, but with DA and the scavenger girls, Accelerator seems a bit soft.
well, I mean, there was an interrogation scene in the virtual anime with him and Toma interrogating somebody, but it was like, I think Toma played bad cop in that interrogation too. It was a very interesting book. Everyone should go and read Virtual On right now.
Wait, didn't Accelerator like torture one of the spies in World War III at the Lizalina Alliance place off screen?
Yes.
Yeah, so he did. Hey, there we go. Off screen though, yeah. Damn, me coming in with the trivia at the back of my head. But yeah, I pointed this out on Twitter, but there was also a reference to the Yumi Arako situation. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Not quite.
So
I'm trying to remember.
I'll mention it. So Frenda mentions a torture method where she said, "Oh, shall I put a non-lethal amount of explosions in the guy's mouth?" So then he just.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So that is why Yumi Arako survived, seemingly, because she used the non-lethal amount to just basically destroy her face as a punishment rather than killing her. But it's kind of odd in a way, because in both like the anime and the manga, that explosion is way too big for it. That should have killed her.
Should have normally killed her.
But the principle behind it's cool, but when you actually see the size of the explosion, I guess that should be retconned, but it won't be. But yeah, I guess that's a more plausible reason to why she survived, minus the size of the explosion, which whatever. By the way, I know I'm doing a lot of talking. Is there anything you want to add to the torture thing, or either of you?
Not really. This is whenever I sort of zoned out of the book here because I wasn't too interested.
What? Get out!
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
You're getting kicked off. We're gonna replace you.
Oh, finally.
Ooh.
I'm free.
You're not forced to come on here, Mal. You got a choice.
I feel like I owe it to the community.
Oh,
Who raised
what a saint! A saint worthy of Aqua of the Back.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But yeah.
Although I always saw the torture scene as this is how Item does their things, like especially with Mugino.
Yeah, it's a good point actually, because you kind of get to see how they
if I
operate
remembered
more.
right,
Yeah.
During this, if I recall right during the sisters arc, she nearly would have done the same thing to that one researcher if he didn't give her the information she needed.
That is true. Yeah. I guess because we haven't really seen much of Item as like a full group, like on missions. I mean, we saw them in Sisters arc and then Battle Royale, but yeah, when you have like all 4 members, including Frenda, going on missions, we haven't really seen enough of that, I feel. And I'm glad this tapped into the potential of that, and we get to see how they operate and what happens if they capture someone, or what happens if they lose a colleague, or one of them gets captured or whatever. Yeah, it's great, I think. I'm glad it expands a lot more on it. And it's not just for Item either, it's like the entire dark side as well. But yeah, Mugano just says to Kinohata and Hanano, "You two go torture this poor man." And they're like, Hanano's like, "I don't want to do it. I don't want to hurt anyone." Oh, I don't want to. And Mugano's like, "If you don't, I'll kill him." So then they're like, yeah, they're forced to, which is, and then it cuts out. And then are we going to go to chapter 2, maybe? Oh yeah, there's a line I really liked. There's like a section I really liked. It was even a virtuous person could become a killer under the right circumstances and without the luxury of choice. So I really liked that line. Chapter 2, everyone?
Yeah.
We can't stand chapter 1 forever.
Oh, come on.
Sure we can.
You're grilling me about the pacing of the podcast. Everyone's a critic. Okay. So, chapter 2, we start with slice of life, really, with the girls. And Mugano not being able to wake up on time in the morning. Well, I'll let you guys talk, because I think I've blabbered on enough, so... Who wants to take the lead for this?
Moving on though. 'Cause, I don't know. I guess I'll do it. Honestly, I liked it. 'Cause, I don't know. I guess I'll do it. 'Cause, I don't know. I guess I'll do it. 'Cause, I don't know. I guess I'll do it. 'Cause, I don't know. I guess I'll do it. 'Cause, I don't know. I guess I'll do it. 'Cause, I don't know. I guess I'll do it. 'Cause, I don't know. I guess I'll do it. 'Cause, I don't know. I guess I'll do it. 'Cause, I don't know. I guess I'll do it. 'Cause, I don't know. I guess I'll do it. 'Cause, I don't know. I guess I'll do it. 'Cause, I don't know. I guess I'll do it. 'Cause, I don't know. I guess I'll do it. 'Cause, I don't know. I guess I'll do it. 'Cause, I don't know. I guess I'll do it. 'Cause, I don't know. I guess I'll do it. 'Cause, I don't know. I guess I'll do it. 'Cause, I don't know. I guess I'll do it. 'Cause, I don't know I never thought I wanted a scene where where Mugino would be doing exercising.
Yep. And
She
it's
doesn't
not
wanna
even a
get
fan service
fat.
kind of thing. It's not a fan service thing. It's literally just a wholesome jog.
Yeah. Oh, I liked sort of how we start getting more into Mugino and Taketsubo's relationship.
Oh yeah.
It's not and we learned how Taketsubo became part of the dark side.
Yeah,
Which-
true.
Which had always got me curious for the last several years since I got into this series. It's like someone like her get involved.
Yeah,
But
I think that's chapter
apparently
3.
She was. Right.
But it's okay.
He's. But, right. Doesn't Item have this? Right. Item had this weird tradition where the previous person has to do stuff for the new one, has to do some things for the.
member is
yeah.
the other's dress-up doll, basically.
It's like the
I was
initiation
wondering, Did
ceremony.
they do this with Hamazura when he joined?
Oh, I don't know,
I'm
because
sure
he's
he
kind of
wore
like.
lots of pretty dresses.
I don't know, because he's kind of like the lackey. He's kind of like the driver. I mean, we do have like the lackey in this volume. He's like a driver, but I think he got killed off when the darts was happening with Mittori. Yeah.
The escape driver.
Man,
Because
rest in peace.
Yeah.
I remember Battle Royale, but the novel. It specifies that he's an unofficial member of Item, which is what I assumed the hired driver would be.
Yeah, I assume that too.
Someone said sneaky of you to release a video midstream. I haven't done that. Unless someone's hacked my account and posted a
Did you?
video. Nah.
Oh, right, that short you posted earlier.
Oh, that was a midstream. That was before the stream. But yeah.
Oh.
Unless people are getting notifications for it now or something, which is weird. Or they're talking about someone else. I don't know. But yeah. Back to the discussion. Where are we? Yes, we also get Kamaba cameo on the phone. I think he's talking about the Coliseum or something. That was just like a line, yeah. But what I like about, I mean, I mentioned this in my video, but I like how we get to see like the casual side to Item. It's not just like blood and guts everywhere. You get to see the slice of life aspect to them, and it makes them more grounded. Yeah. Like Mugano worrying about her body fat. And what body fat, Mugano? Come on, this is ridiculous. You're gonna be anorexic? What is going on? Yeah, she's
Pretty girls
completely
are
fine.
anorexic, don't you know?
What's that?
Pretty girls don't eat food.
Nah. If anything, pretty girls need to share their food. But food is important.
You want
You gotta eat.
some dummy thick girls?
I mean, I won't complain, no?
I mean, this Mugino was pretty dummy thick. So
True.
Yeah,
I always appreciate
Yeah,
it,
let's-
Komachi.
and it was really interesting as an artist.
Yeah. What did you guys think of the art? Because I kind of talked about it in my video.
I didn't look at the art whenever I did my first read through, so I wasn't really affected by it. The only art I had seen up to that point was the cover and the group shot with Hanano in the background. But I mean, I like the art. I'm disappointed that the actual art never really goes into the more gore direction. That's sort of. I was partly hoping for some like cool battle shots.
Yeah, I don't think no. Yeah, the first time I've looked at all the illustrations for this beforehand, because I usually sometimes just grab all the illustrations, do them somewhere else, post them somewhere, then read the volume. So I had very little context. But all I know is that Yutsu did a really cute Frenda. And that amused me.
My one
like
thing
the
where I
outfits.
wasn't a big fan.
I like the outfits they're wearing, though. That's kind of nice.
Yeah, the art. Character
Usually
art
in
was-
spin-offs, sometimes you just see them wearing the usual outfits, but here it's like they're trying to wear different clothes for a change. Except for Takisubu. She's just happy with her tracksuit.
Yeah, like my one thing with the art is certain characters do not look as old as they're supposed to be, like the final illustration. Like I look at that and I'm like, this isn't what the book just said. This person does not look like they are in their late 20s or whatever. But other than that, I'm fine with the art. In general, though, I typically don't look at the art my first read through.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was all right. I wouldn't say it's the best. I mean, the actual art quality itself, I can't really complain. But yeah, I was just hoping the illustrations would be cooler, because like there's a lot of them just like character close-ups, which I mentioned. Yeah, it was okay, but oh, what's happening now? Super chats. Brumakian Productions, thank you. Dropping this dono before I get back to work. Have a fun stream, mates. Thank you very much. And sorry to hear that you have to work on Easter Sunday. Oh, sorry to hear that.
That sucks.
Yeah. I'd talk to your employer, unless you're a vital worker or whatever. Like work in a hospital or something.
Or you're stuck at
But yeah.
Or you're stuck at a casino or something.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, hope your shift goes well and goes quick. So we can get back to watching Toaru or whatever. Or catch up on the VOD, even better. Okay, where are we?
Let's see. We're talking about the downtime.
Yes. Shall we talk about the slice of life a bit more, or should we move on to the infiltration mission?
Let's just do the infiltration mission. I'm sure that's what most people are here for.
Okay, yeah. Oh, all right. General thoughts. What did you think of this scene? I thought it was brilliant from start to finish. I loved it.
I like seeing
Hanano. The part where we see Hanano's how she does her disguises.
Yeah, because you get to go into a little base at the start, don't you?
Yeah, where it's you get an idea of how she does her disguises, how she has to make sure she does the right type of voice before she even does the mission. So she doesn't screw up or something.
Yeah, and it's also the acting element as well. Sorry, Mel, go on.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, it shows just how much delicacy in her job there is that has to be maintained and whatnot. I don't know, I sort of just lost my train of thought.
No, it's okay. Because there is a lot of elements that go into it, because there's also the voice and the actual weight and everything. And there's some hyper advanced makeup as well. But yeah, also trying to act like them as well. Does she have data files on their personalities as well? I can't remember.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a detail I barely ever see in this sort of whenever there's a character that disguises things. So it's kind of cool to see Kamachi describing it.
Yeah,
Since
true.
a lot of time we just see the character doing it, we never see what methods they did beforehand, like the prep time.
Mel?
I don't really have anything to add.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
So we get down to the mission. So they have to get into this corporate building kind of thing. And she is disguised as the manager. So a 50-year-old fat Japanese man is actually this girl. This cute, timid girl. Or so we think. Oh,
Though
changes on
it kinda
later on.
sucks that you have to. Oh man, it doesn't sound like an easy process.
Yeah, tell me about it. I mean, so she successfully manages to get up to the right floor, but
Mhm.
yeah. So the mission basically is she needs to get this data from the building to find out where the Coliseum is, or track someone who knows about it, if I remember correctly, because then they start tracking like one of the contestants from it, I think. But
Oh yeah, apparently it was mentioned that at one point Frenda used to do all this stuff before Hanano joined.
Yeah, Frenda's a
oh
big
yeah,
extrovert. She's like really good at making connections and whatnot.
yeah,
So it's
because
kind of like, wow.
yeah, because I think she was like, "Oh, shall I go in and charm them?" And it's like, "No, don't do that. We'll do it this way." But yeah, so she like Hanano successfully like enters the building, goes up to the right floor, but she can't get to where the data is because it's like sealed off by these doors that she doesn't know like the password to or whatever, or doesn't have the right authorization. Or I think the security changed, didn't it? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The code
First, new
changed.
technology and changing your passwords every week.
Yes, that was it. Yeah. So then it's like, oh, that adds tension to it, because there's already tension, because you're like thinking, oh, what if Hanano screws up or says something wrong, and then that happens. So then you're like, oh, what's gonna happen next? So I really like this little scenario Komachi came up with, and then Mugano does what Mugano does best: blast the building so it activates like the emergency doors and everything. So it opens thanks to that, and then she's able to get it, and she has to improvise with a new costume as well to blend in with the security, because otherwise she get asked, "Well, what were you doing in the data room or whatever?" So she has to do that, and then Kinohata comes in and rescues her, I think. So yeah, anything you want to add about that?
No. I think there's not really. I mean,
Like
everything's
overall
been pretty
thoughts on it?
straightforward from there.
Yeah,
It was really,
yeah,
it was fun.
fun.
It was entertaining.
It was. I'm assuming full. You've had your say on that.
Sorry.
Oh,
Had to get food quick.
Don't apologise, not at all. Move on. So yeah.
Yep.
Oh, one thing, because they go back into like their little vehicle or whatever, and or is it a van that they're using? And the kid, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but Takitsubo says, "Don't worry, Hanano, I'm rooting for you," which is a reference to what she said to Mazura.
There was a bit that made me
Oh.
laugh, where Kinohata was just randomly chewing popcorn where she said the line, and so she was eating popcorn while Hanano questioned it, whoever the heck was doing it, while they were doing the investigate. Well, Hanano was disguising herself or something.
But yeah, you didn't notice that, Mal?
Nah, I didn't. I guess I probably just didn't like make the connection, but
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
interesting.
I noticed that and I was like, oh, so that's where it comes from. Because Takitsubo is the one who takes like is rooting for like the new item members or the ones who are treated as underdogs or whatever. So that's kind of where it comes from, I guess.
I just always thought Takitsubo was the kind of person who would support you in the group no matter how.
Sorry, Full, your audio's not
Yeah.
being great.
Sorry.
Oh, it's okay, don't worry.
I just thought she was always a supportive type of person.
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
she'll
Seems
cheer
like
you
it.
on even when you're in a breakup.
She may just say it to everybody who's new. A hollow compliment. Or
I remember she was doing hollow compliments for friends
Oh.
too when she was kind of.
yeah, your mic's gotten quiet again.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike.
There you go.
Everyone has mic issues.
It's okay.
Alright.
Never.
Huh?
Never had mic issues. What?
Can't hear you, by the way.
Ah.
Can hear you now.
Ah, thank God.
Yeah. I probably just stayed that distance away from it because you end up being pretty quiet.
Yeah.
Jeez. I didn't
If you
realize
can, you
that
may have
stuff.
to turn up the gain on the microphone.
Gotcha.
What were you trying to say though? When it cut you out?
Don't remember.
Oh well. There's next time. It might come to you.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
it'll
okay.
come back to me.
Don't worry. Okay, so shall we move on to the tracking the Coliseum down?
Yes.
Cool.
Gotta beat these guys eventually.
Full your mic again.
Please!
There, just I don't know what you're doing to it, but yeah, just try to stay close to it, I guess. But
I'm gonna have to.
yeah. That's better. We can hear you when you do it like that. Yeah. But yeah, okay. So they track one of the contestants, and where was it again? It was in like this weird like amusement. Was it amusement park kind of place?
I thought it was a library.
Yeah.
It
It
was
was
a
like,
library, actually.
yeah. Was it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's always shifting locations, which was like the important thing for why they were having trouble finding it or whatever. Is it changes locations constantly or whatnot?
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a bit I liked though beforehand. There was a part where the other members were some of the other members were trying to eat Taketsubu's ice cream of all things.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
not sure why, but that really got to me. Where she was trying to eat bamboo like leaf ice cream, and Mugino was trying to give some licks off, and Kinohara just went,
Oh.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I remember that now. Because I guess it's kind of like the... is bamboo ice cream a thing over there? I don't know. Probably not. But
I wouldn't be, considering how many flavors of ice cream exist in this world, I would not be surprised if that exists.
I guess, but I suppose it does fit in with like the weird juices kind of deal that they have in Academy City as well. Where they got like the obscure flavors for things.
Yeah.
Hey, Toaru has juice law and ice cream law. What more do you want?
You can buy the recipes. There's a cookbook with the recipes for the juices.
Oh, I want that Toaru cookbook. Cooking some fire juice from anime.
You do a stream. It's a video. Future video.
Yeah,
content.
why not? Content.
Oh, that's what you
creator.
do. Your 20K celebration needs to be making the weird juices and testing all of them.
Oh,
Maybe
what,
50. What about 50K?
where do I get the book? Someone send me the link to the book and I'll buy it.
I'll find it. I tried to buy it a while back, but
Wait, is it in English or no?
it's in Japanese. But I think it's not. I think it's got a specific page to it's easy to translate.
Well, yeah, if
just
there's a
with, like-
translation for it, then that would help because I'm not enough of a weeb to read the mystic language.
The mystic runes.
Yeah, that's the one. The weeb runes. Anyway. So they end up in the Coliseum place, but they get split up. They get separated because was it like the floor collapsed or something? How did they get separated?
The girls, one of the alternate item girls, broke open the roof and
Separated that way.
yeah, what's her face ran off with Taketsubo, and then the other three sort of went off to fight their specific pose.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly how it
Yeah.
went down.
Yeah, it was Taketsubo and Hanano were together, and then Mugano was down with Fender and Kinohata, and then Mugano went after what's she called? Hanayama? Yeah. So it is revealed that the Coliseum are operated by Item. Well, not the Item we all know and love. It's some kind of new weird item with 4
Counterfeit
different girls. Yeah, fake item, whatever you want to call them. So I will list off the new Item members. So we've got, oh god, I'm not saying her first name. we got Kaede, who's the
Hibotono
top...
Kikukoji.
Thank you, Mal.
I think that's her. I think that's her last name.
Yeah.
They just do the Ramondress version. You could just call her Kaede.
Yeah, we'll just call her that. That'd be for the best, because I think I'll lose my mind otherwise. But yeah, she's a Tokiwadai student, and she is claiming to be the number 6 level 5. She's claiming to be Aihana Etsu. Or she doesn't really say Aihana Etsu, she just says Darkside's Bane, as opposed to that. And we also have... we'll talk about their roles, because I guess Kaede's the leader of the group. And she's probably the most similar to Mugano, I guess. Then we got Waniguchi, I think I'm saying that right. And she is a level 4 Esper, and she has the power of leverage struggle, so she can like manipulate leverage, and anything that she can grasp her hands onto, she can just pull apart basically. But she needs to basically grasp onto it to use her ability, otherwise she can't. And she's similar to Kinohata, I guess. And then you got Inoue Laspezia. I guess.
Why is the surname so easier to say than the first name? Jesus.
Laspezia?
Yeah, I don't know.
Laspezia? I think it's Laspezia.
Yeah, I guess she's similar to Kitsubo, but I don't think she has an Esper power. She just like support member who can counterfeit stuff.
She was a modeler, support specialist who uses tricks more than direct combat.
Yeah.
She creates fake evidence and stuff. She supports more on the legal side, or the escaping.
Yeah, that's right. And then we got Hanayama Kamitsu, who is kind of like Frenda, because she uses technology. She's got something called a dragon motor, which is that a reference to like the Dragon Rider?
Yeah. I believe that's what I always assumed it was.
Yeah, I think it's hinting at it, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that connected to? Maybe I'm just completely making this up. Isn't that connected to the dragon motor? Connected to the group that attacked Shokuho?
Oh, you mean Deadlock?
Yeah, Deadlock.
Right.
What was that technology called again?
I'm gonna look real quick. Deadlock.
Yeah, because you use those like little jet things to move at crazy speeds.
Yeah, because in my mind, like whenever I read that part, that's immediately what I thought of. So in my mind, I was thinking they were, because this is the same, roughly around the same time Toma and Misaki are doing the thing. Oh, which did they? Yeah, because they even did the mall flooding. They did an Easter egg to.
Yes.
Brenda and Premia both being at that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Anyway, what did you guys think of like the new Item members? I mean, you don't have to talk about all of them at once, but as overall.
Did anybody even for half a second believe Kaede was actually the number 6?
I think if they hadn't read New Testament.
I just went with using the name. Just using the name.
Yeah, like that's sort of what disappointed me, is like at this point in the series, it's so obvious, like, no, she's not.
It's kind of just maybe we'll just reveal it.
Oh, close to the
Your
mic.
mic got quiet again. Yeah.
Maybe it'll just be easier to just maybe Kamachi's just waiting for the right moment to reveal him. And besides,
Yeah.
I had a hard time of buying it was just like a middle schooler one moment.
Yeah,
Not sure
I feel
why, but it
Oh,
seems
go on.
suspicious to see that a third Tokyo Wandai student be in number 6. Anyways.
Yeah, I think it was always stated there's only 2 level 5s at Tokiwadai, so... But at the same time, I feel like the only people who'd be tricked by this are anime onlys, because if you read New Testament, then you pretty much know it's not going to be Aihana Etsu.
Yep.
Yeah. Still, yeah, I guess in the fact that she repelled Meltdowner could trick, like, anime onlys again. She's like, oh, she stopped Meltdowner, so she must be level 5 as well. But it's not how it usually works.
Yeah.
That's not really how it works.
Yeah. There are definitely capable level 4s out there. My dono especially. But yeah.
But for the members overall, I thought they were okay. They're fine antagonists for what they're supposed to be doing, but really,
They didn't do a whole lot. In the end.
you're just waiting for Mugi to take care of them.
Like, in particular, I think Laspezia and Nokoba, in particular, they sort of didn't really get to do anything before, you know, what happens to them.
I mean, they got taken out very quickly.
They were a real blast.
Is that a pun, Mal?
Maybe.
I knew it. Can't trick me. I saw that coming, but no. Yeah. I think I liked them for who they were, I guess. I mean, I don't need them to be like a Fiyama level antagonist for like an item spin-off. Like, I'm not expecting that, especially when they're like a one volume antagonist, really.
I don't ask much from a spin-off villain personally.
Yeah.
As long as they're fine for what they are, then as long as they're better than DA, then I can handle anything.
Oh, completely agreeing with you on that one. My God, yeah. I mean, at least the Hishigatas were improved in the anime because we got that little backstory episode, which wasn't in the manga.
Yeah.
But true.
The anime added stuff that the original couldn't do.
Yeah. Like, have fun. Make it look good.
So, we briefly touched upon it prior, I think, but what do you guys think of the Hanayama versus Mugano fight? Because she was going all across like the planetarium. They fought in the planetarium, and she was using these uranium weapons, I think. Then she meets her demise. So, do you want to go first, Mal?
I sort of mentioned, I talked a bit about it earlier. I thought it was just sort of a funny fight to imagine because she was like riding her a modified kick scooter. So just, I don't know, like I knew how it was going to go, right? Maybe I didn't quite, maybe I expected her to like escape rather than get vaporized into vapor. I mean, it was an entertaining fight, I guess. It was just, I don't know, it was such a weird fight. Mugino versus a person on a kick scooter was just a weird fight.
What about you, Full?
I mean, it was a fight. There was a scooter. Mugino got to use Meltdowner.
What more can you say?
Yeah, I don't really have... Yeah.
I guess
there was a part... Oh yeah, there was a part where Mugino took down a freaking tiger.
That happened, and I think
That was wild. That was wild.
Yeah, she didn't have to use her ability either, I don't think.
Yeah. My main
And,
takeaway from that fight was how brutal murdering Kamitsu was.
Yeah, I appreciate that moment. I was like, damn. Like, as soon as she gets a chance, like, Mugano will kill. No hesitation, no remorse, no talk, no jutsu, Toma. There's no talk, no jutsu here. if the opportunity presents itself, you're dead. So.
That's how Mugino does things.
And what I thought of the fight was, I don't know why Mugano didn't take out the roof straight away of the planetarium. I thought, well, surely she should have just like done that straight away. But other than that, I was like, yes, I enjoyed the fight. I thought it was entertaining enough. Obviously, not the best fight of all time, but I thought it was a pretty serviceable mid-chapter fight, or mid-novel fight, I should say.
Yeah.
What it was fine.
Yeah, it was fine indeed. So, after that happened, Takitsubo and Hanano got separated, with Hanano being taken capture by the new item. And then Kaede talks to Mugano over the phone and taunts her, saying, I've got Hanano. So, the item girls are like, okay, we don't really care much about the money anymore now. Let's just go save Hanano. So I liked how the motivation kind of shifted.
It was interesting. I was mixed sort of on how dedicated Item was to like rescuing a singular member up to that point. It didn't seem like something from what I've garnered of Item that would be within their like scope of morality or something. I don't know. I didn't expect Mugino to be so attached to people simply for being members of Item, even for short times.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand why, considering, what happened to Friend in the story. Main series.
Yeah. That's sort of the main thing. Like that, it's sort of just the way she treats Taketsubo from an index perspective, like from Battle Royale, and how quickly she was to bisect Frenda. I just never really imagined her being the way she is in this book.
I don't know, because
even with some of the railgun stuff, like she seems to care for Frenda whenever she makes a mistake in railgun or whatever during the Makoto fight.
Like the Frenda thing, there might have been like something. There might have been
Like problem.
maybe there's this. Oh, right. I just always assumed that Mugino was never the kind of person who liked quote unquote betrayal that much.
Yeah. This book sort of felt like a minor retcon to Mugino's relationships.
Yeah, it's kind of a whiplash going, wow, Mugino caring too much about her comrades? Enough that she'll abandon the mission to save someone? That's kind of crazy.
I mean, yeah, we get it explained further in chapter 3, where Takitsubo talks about her backstory, which I think you briefly mentioned before, Full. Yeah, she was arrested on false charges, and a lab wanted her, and Mugano then saved her, and she, kind of explains why. But I guess because it's like 1 year before the start of Index, I think characters can change, I guess, but I don't know.
I mean, considering that in Dark Matter, we got a better idea of what kind of person Kakine was.
Yeah, very true. But yeah, I guess it does mention the distinction, because if someone betrays, I guess she values Item above everything else. So if you're part of Item or at least one of the main members, then you're viewed as basically one of her own. But that's why, like she feels like so furious if you betray like the home that she's given you and this little community. If you then betray that group, then she will destroy you and she will be very, very angry, which we see in Battle Royale. So I think that's why, because it's like the
It's just sort of a
attachment
tonal
thing,
whiplash
maybe.
to me.
I don't know. I feel like if you look at from the viewpoint of it, the attachment viewpoint, it might make more sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just what I think about it. Feel free to discuss in the chat. What do you think? Do you think Mugano is consistent with Index, or do you think she cares too much about her teammates that it breaks her character? Let me know. But in Chapter 3, we also got Frenda and Fremeia. Is this their first ever meeting?
I mean, this is our first time seeing 7-year-old Frema in this case. Like, it was
Yeah.
mentioned early in the
Yeah.
novel, she got sick with a summer cold.
Yeah,
Which
I don't
kinda
recall it
sucked.
being their first time meeting.
No.
No.
I mean, the first time we as the
Or-
audience have seen them
Oh.
physically together. That's what I mean, sorry.
Like
Well, yeah, if we
for us,
exclude
okay.
the if we
Yeah.
exclude the idol spinoff, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
'cause
I really
usually-
like this
yeah.
scene just because it was, it sort of confirms that where in the timeline exactly this is all happening.
Yeah.
Because we know exactly what this mall flood is from in T11.
Mhm.
Yeah, nice little swimming area you can go in this underground mall.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of crazy and nice to make it a pool for a bit.
Full, I'm sorry to have to mention it again, but
Yeah, my mic.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Nah, it's okay. I don't know why it keeps cutting out like that, because it was fine at the start of the pod. Strange. Anyway. So, yeah, I guess we get to see a bit of their sisterly relationship. I know it's brief, I know it's mostly just not too important, but Fremeia can tell there's something wrong with Frenda, like something's bothering her, and obviously it's Hanano, because I feel like out of the item members, I feel like Frenda was probably the closest to Hanano, maybe.
Frenda seems to be the closest to everybody.
Okay, yeah. If you want to say that, then fair enough,
Yeah.
yeah.
Considering that in NT12 we had this whole mention where she would get birthday presents for every single person that she was friends with.
Mm-hmm.
That is a good point, yeah.
It's to the point where it's worth making note. Like, it makes people suspect that she's not even truly like part of the dark side. Like, she's a spy or something almost, or however they worded it. Like even from the final excerpt of the novel, like, we find out that it makes Frenda almost dangerous in a way.
Yeah. Also, Kinohara would relate to somebody who says morning when it's like 3 in the afternoon.
Oh, yeah, she wakes up late, right?
Yeah, she woke up like 3 in the afternoon.
Yeah, the opposite. Yeah. Opposite to a early bird.
All because, yeah.
But yeah, I guess it's funny that like Fremeia is the one who like points out to Frenda that like saving or valuing your friends is important. I think might be,
she was. I think
yeah.
I always thought that Frema was saying that just to cheer up her older sister in the same way a younger sibling would do the same for their older siblings.
Yeah, maybe, but I
Even
don't know
if
if Fremeia has the emotional maturity for it. I don't know.
Then again, she's 7 and that's like her usual catchphrase.
Mike.
Oops. He's my mate. Gracias,
And-
Mike.
Maybe it's worth plugging out and plugging back in again. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah. Oh, at least it's yeah. Not every time, but
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
Of course, I'm suffering with tech issues.
Aye, don't worry. I'm used to that. I'm notorious for it. I mean, we had a chat box at the start, but
Yeah.
yeah, with it's in the name because she's called Frenda, and of course she values her friends so much. Who would have thought Frenda loves her friends?
I can't believe it took me this long to
Thank you,
finally
thank
realize
you.
that part of her name.
I know. I'm such a comedic genius for pointing out that pun.
God darn it. Plus, you can matching your puns.
I know.
Deep.
But yeah, shall we? What shall we skip to? What part of chapter 3? Because we get like the reason why the support organizations can't clean up, so that's what they think.
Yeah.
Hanano's still alive, but we don't get to see the attack, and then item
You get a
basically
breakdown of all the members of the fake item.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, apart from Kaede, who's kind of a mystery still. Oh yeah, we get her meeting Misaka, don't we? Briefly,
Yep.
get Misaka cameo.
Yeah, she's
that'll-
acquainted with
That
her.
was. I remembered when I was reading this in the Japanese version, I went, huh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Very rare we ever see Mikoto in the spin-offs that aren't Tokuwadai related.
True. Yeah, I guess because it's a darker tone of volume, and Misaka hasn't really gotten involved in the dark side as of yet. But I guess they do kind of tease to it that she does have some links. But yeah.
This would be around the time where the current index or railgun manga is at, right?
It would be around the freshman arc. Wouldn't this be sometime
Yeah, so
during the freshman arc? Or something?
I think so. This is around the time when Makoto didn't have a personality to steal from.
Ah, yeah. Wow. Yeah. We forgot to mention this actually because it's 1 year before the start of the story. So it's around the time of. I think they do reference Biohacker as well. I think they do reference like there was a dragon somewhere. Or,
Yeah, they referenced the dragon. Yeah. I think Brenda was like,
Hi,
"Oh, we need to be
Biohacker."
careful. There's a dragon flying around or something."
Yeah.
That biohacker man friends made me smile.
Yeah, I liked that.
I'm in the I hate Biohacker club, so I can't celebrate that. No, I'm joking. I don't hate Biohacker. I've started to like it a bit more.
Oh, what changed your heart?
Emerald's video on it actually is like, oh yeah, he's
really?
brought up some good points there. I was like, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, the lolly thighs, they were great.
No. Definitely not. That was the worst part. No, I don't know if that was the worst part. I'd probably say some bits of the characters were probably the worst part. I don't know. But anyway, no, I think it's probably gone up a bit in my opinion, but I still think it's like, I don't know, it's still okay. I don't think it's the best, but feel free to disagree.
It's better than the Railgun book. The
Oh,
last-
yeah, I
the
mean,
50th
probably.
anniversary Railgun.
Yeah, I'd probably say that. Yeah, go on then. I'll give you that.
So it's kind of interesting of how Mikoto's feelings of now reality, despite them all being level 5s, they barely ever had contact with each other or anything, and that never seemed to bother her. That seemed to kind of bother her for a bit. Or
True.
casually shrugging like, yeah, we're all level 5s, but it's not like we ever meet each other, ever have email exchanges or anything.
Yeah, I don't know. I never really thought like it was necessary for the level 5s to all be like aware of each other.
Yeah. I mean, even like Mugano didn't realize Misaka was Misaka until later on in their fight when she was running away.
Yeah.
She was like, it's the third ranked. It's the only explanation. But yeah, shall we move on to story? So we get the explanation why the support group's not around. Although, do you think we'll get to see like the Mitori thing, like windowless building situation, and like some other piece of
100% believe
Toaru?
there could be some sort of coinciding story with this that we'll see in the future.
Yeah.
I mean, we've already seen so many like corresponding elements in these like 1 year before books.
Hey, I appreciate more prequel stuff.
Yeah, for real. Anyway, so Hanano is kind of getting tortured by the new item girls, or at least 2 of them. And while that's going on, item get a false lead to the wrong base. While they end up being alright, because Frenda is good at detecting traps of all kinds, like she's very savvy. Yeah, they get led to the wrong base. So they're like, oh no, we're screwed now, because like, where the hell is Nano? And 2 of the new item girls get impatient and they decide, okay, we don't want to have Hanano around anymore, because it's like she's probably not going to be, she's not going to talk, and she's definitely not going to want to join us. So screw what Kaede thinks, we might as well just get rid of her. But Hanano had a last resort. She had a little bomb right where cleavage was, apparently. Typical Komachi.
Yes.
But
You have
do you
to hide
think
your bomb somewhere?
Yeah, I guess. But do you guys think it's a bit weird or stupid that the new item girls didn't like strip her completely, in a sense, to find that if she had anything?
I remember they gave some reason for it. I don't remember what the exact reasoning for it was.
So weird though that you kidnapped a member of this item group and yet you don't do anything. You just leave her be for like almost a whole week.
Well, they were sort of like torturing her. What kind of torture were they doing? I remember he specified what kind of torture like their goal was, and like isolating her, and they weren't feeding her. What they were
Oh yeah.
I don't know, they were doing a lot of things they sort of mentioned. It was more like psychological torture ultimately that they were going for. I think they were trying to make her hopeless, like, oh, the other ones aren't going to come and save you or whatever, so still.
Yeah. Yeah, they weren't treating her great, I don't think, but they weren't like actively like harming her directly. Yeah. They were just like taking away like, oh yeah, they wouldn't let her like wash or bathe herself, so she was probably didn't smell very good.
Yeah.
So stuff like that. Yeah.
Ultimately, though, I think this was the moment that made me sort of think of Hanano as like the standout character for this novel.
Her
the self-sacrifice moment. Yeah. He's like, whenever she did that, I was like, dang, now I feel bad for her. Oh, this is terrible. I was like down about this death, quote unquote death.
Yeah. She nukes herself. Kaboom. To take down.
Not gonna lie, the first time I read this long before we get to you know where, that caught me off guard completely.
Yeah.
Going, geez, this girl's gonna risk herself just to help her friends, the item members of item. Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty
it made
dark.
Me feel feels.
To also learn that they were actually hiding right below them all along.
Yeah, that's where their base was. It's like, bro, seriously, Komachi.
They draw and move, not gonna lie.
Like,
Like,
make
imagine
that
if they just ran into each other on the elevator.
That would have been very awkward.
Yep. It would. Anyway, this alerts the real item to their location, and then... So, yeah, the two other members of New Item die, so it's basically just Kaede left, and...
Yeah.
Kaede...
I was shocked by the deaths.
Oh, yeah.
Particularly, like, in my mind before this, like, whenever we got the character breakdowns, and, like, one of the characters was, what was it? Nokoba. Like, her breakdown is like, oh, she's 12-year-old female. I was like, Kamachi will use this later. It's like, oh, she's small. Like, they sort of like, oh, a lolly type character. Kamachi, you know he's gonna cook something with her, and what he ended up cooking was her, literally. I was very surprised by the death of those two, just because it's like sometimes Kamachi is a bit more lenient on killing the cute girls, you know.
I don't
died.
know. I don't know if she was
I don't
cute
know.
because she was kind of a savage as well. Like, didn't she kill like a bear? She like ripped like
Something.
killed a
She was
bear
like an
with ability.
MMA fighter.
Yeah,
But she was also a small 12-year-old girl, so you know.
yeah,
It was just crazy to see Kamachi kill up a 12-year-old.
Yeah. Yeah, her power was the leverage struggle.
yeah.
So that's what sort of let her do the crazy feats. She was a grappling fighter. But yeah, her and I think it was Inoue.
Inoue, yeah.
Inoue.
In a way.
They both just get blown up, and I was like really surprised by that. Didn't expect them to die like that, much less die in general. I sort of thought those two would get away. Like the first girl who died, Hanayama, she was 18. So I was like, yeah, it makes sense. Kamachi would kill her. She's an old hag. But yeah, the other two did not expect. So the suicide bombing on top of like who he killed. Big shocker to me.
Yeah, and then goes to chapter 4, which is the hunt down Kaede, because Kaede's trying to escape. She's like considering, oh, should I go to the airport district and get playing that way? She's like, nah, I won't be able
Apparently
to.
it's summer vacation for those in Academy City properly.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy how many time jumps there were.
I guess so. You mean like
We
short-term
started the
time
volume
jumps,
like
or-
on July 1st or something.
Yeah, they had a.
Right, yeah.
They kept what's her face? I can't even remember her name now. That even though we've been talking about her this whole time.
Who are you thinking of?
Hanano, like they
yeah.
kept Hanano for a while. That was a pretty long jump. I think they had her for like a week or something.
Yep. Now we're on the 21st of all things.
But yeah, Kaede ends up at this bus station, and she's trying to wait for the bus, but it's not there. And I think does she like talk to the driver as well at one point? But it's already too late, because item closed in on her, and they basically say, "Everyone get out!" So all the normal people evacuate, and then Mugano gets sent in to deal with what's she called? Kaede. But Takitsubo already has her locked in with AIM Stalker at this point, so she won't be able to successfully make a getaway, because she'll always be able to be tracked down. As Kaede was thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to go outside Academy City, like, what was her plan, like to regroup somehow and then get her revenge or something?
I think it was
I don't.
sort of. I think
All
it
I
was just
just remember-
primarily to get away from the dark side, because like the dark side, specifically item, doesn't have as much scope outside of Academy City, so leaving would allow her to sort of reform item with I don't know. I don't know. Maybe she'll pull
Know
a baggage
people?
city.
Probably whoever she finds on the road.
Yeah, first guy she finds, Greg.
That'll item stopped her before she can even begin her plan.
Yeah, I think it was a big panic thing. So I don't think reason was really. I don't think she could properly reason why she needed to escape. Probably.
So let me ask you guys, which whoever wants to go first. I mean, like, what do you think of this fight? Because I've really enjoyed this fight. We get the Kaede's ability reveal, so it's called Killer Press, I think. It's like the ability to manipulate pressure in front of her, like a beam kind of thing.
Yeah, that's what allowed her to shift the meltdowner to the side.
Yeah, and also influence the direction of where the animals would go. It's like crazy how many applications this ability has. So, what do you think of
it would create the easiest it would create the best. How did they word it? By clearing air pressure or whatever, the simplest path for something to take would take that path or whatever.
Yeah.
Subconsciously. It was a really cool fight. Pretty chaotic. I have no idea how Item would attempt to cover that up. But especially the self-sacrificial move, I guess, at the end.
Yeah,
that was
very
really
true.
cool.
Yeah, because I think the flooring got removed. I think, or somehow, and then
It was
just
all electrocuted.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's it. It was all electrocuted. So, yeah. So they were just Mugano was using her meltdowner to hop from to different platforms as well, propelling herself. And Kaede was kind of trying to do the same. And I guess she couldn't because this is the limitation of her ability. While it is seemingly powerful at range, she can't use it if something is right in front of her, because it will backfire upon her and wreck herself. So she has to just try and cling onto things and that. But yeah, Mugano does a last ditch effort to get this meltdowner shot in, but knowing that she will land in the electric floor. But she ended up did a heart stop, but she ended up being revived.
Her heart stopped, but they brought her back. She said that she had some resistance because her power is technically electric magnetic, but
yes, similar to Makoto.
I think Kinohara was the one who or one of the other girls was like, "No, you died. We had to bring you back." But that was neat, though. It also sort of it also played into the part that bugged me in how she was willing to go so far for Item all of a sudden, or other people. It just sort of added to her out of characterness that I felt like it had before. I never saw Mugino up to this point being so altruistic for her friends, I guess.
What did you think of the fight, Full?
It was pretty cool. There was plenty. The Killer Press stuff was Killer Press was a really different type of ability than I ever expected for someone to have, and to tell me, do never underestimate the level 4 abilities. They could be very useful.
Yeah, I mean, you got move points and also My Dono's telekinesis. There is a lot of strong level 4 abilities.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned it earlier, but I loved how they used the environment in this fight. It made it really engaging, and also the limitations of their power and how they interacted with each other as well. It was honestly really good fight. Very enjoyable. And props to Kamachi, you did very well. You cooked, as they say. But he hadn't finished cooking because the story went on, So we go into the epilogue where we had Hanano's funeral. this was pretty somber at the time, I think. When we see us like Hanano's supposed family are there, and oh boy, this all changes in retrospect, doesn't it? How mad.
Mind blowing.
Yep.
And they talked about finding a different hideout too, since
I think there's a bit of a mic problem there.
they also mentioned something about finding a new apartment, so a new hideout. Since what happened, since there was the counterfeit item thing.
Yeah.
Because they lost their hideouts due to explosions.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. 'Cause the new item hideout was right below theirs, so, and I got blown up. So, yep, need a new hideout. But one thing I did notice, like the thing Frenda says while watching like the funeral from afar, she says, "In the end, we could die at any time in this job. I thought I was prepared for that, but I don't want to put my family through this." Oh, I hope Frenda doesn't die, later.
Unlikely. She's a cute girl. She can't die.
Who would look after Fremea? Oh, yes, Kamaba could. Gorilla Man.
Yeah, nothing will happen to him.
Oh, this is making me feel sorry for everyone now. This is making me feel sorry for Hamazura as well. Oh. Feels. Just remember they're fictional characters, Aeon. They're not real. Yeah, so we learn somewhat of the... Oh, sorry, what was that?
Oh yeah, there's that big... So yeah, Frenda's whole talk thing was like, sheesh, now this is just reminding me of OT-15 all over again. Hamazura said a similar thing to it.
Very intentional by Komachi to include that bit. Very somber, but also meaningful, I think. He did a good job writing that, in my opinion. And we later find out, well, in this epilogue, that this was all just a test by the voice on the phone to see who would be the real item. So it was basically engineered so that the items would fight each other, and then whoever won would be considered the real item. So, and then they take out the voice on the phone. They kind of track him or her down.
Yeah, her.
Yeah.
Rip their handler.
Yeah, just all the pronouns. But yeah, shall we skip to the big plot twist, or do you guys want to talk about?
I think
we're in the Japanese version. 20 pages of Jesus Christ. What the heck am I reading? Jesus, Kamachi, what have you cooked?
I think it was the same effect in English. I think it was universal. What were you trying to say, Mal?
What was I trying to say? I was just agreeing that
okay, fair.
This
Fair
is gonna
enough.
be crazy.
Okay, so we had the volume kind of ended with that part, but yeah, we had the afterword, but there was a bit extra after the afterword from Komachi, where we see, well, first we see like, is it like item thinking about like what just happened with Hanano, or investigating like the scene, because they mentioned that Hanano, she wasn't in her coffin, although prior they said that her remains had been found or something, but then it's just like, oh wait, no, there's nothing in her coffin.
Yeah.
It's kind of
they
weird,
assumed that there was something like her remains were in the coffin, but ultimately at the end discovered that her body wasn't found after the funeral.
Right, yeah.
Also,
And
they were
then
confused of who the people. Also, they were confused of who were the couple crying at the coffin.
yeah, it's very suspicious. Some paid actors, some kind of The Game. I don't know if you've seen that movie, but is it David Fincher or something direct that movie? But yeah, where you're like doubting what's real and what's fake.
Yeah.
Is it a simulation? But yes, there's that, and then they're like theorizing, could she have survived? It's like,
Yeah. It
well,
was,
we don't.
there was
Oh,
a delay using the air conditioner records or the air conditioning AI that tracks people's locations in the room. They find out there was a delay between when the girls entered the room and the bomb going off of 9 minutes, which was, so we don't know what happened in that time. So apparently she took out the other two girls through some method and managed to blow them up to create that scene. It's pretty sus. Hanano vented.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, they did kind of like theorize how she escapes. Like, she's the wires around the.
Yeah, I mean, as far as we know, she could have just walked out. It was about 10 minutes of just
It's possible.
nothing.
Yeah. Well, I guess, like, I hope we get a second volume. I really do, so we can see, like, potentially how she did escape or what her capabilities are, because we don't know, like, if she's, like, oh, I guess she's an adult, so I guess she might not be an Esper.
Yeah.
I suppose not, but
Yeah.
But at the same time, she might be like a Kamikawa Seria type who has this like set of like weird skills which compensates for that. But well, she does with her disguises and that. But something extra that could make her escape and beat those Espers, you know, at least Wanaguchi, whatever she's called. But yeah, she's revealed Hanano is alive, and she is not what she appears to be, because her default appearance is actually also a disguise. She's the master of disguises. Behind this mask is another mask, as the Naruto filler reference goes. But yeah, she is an adult woman. Is she in her 20s? I don't know, but
I think it said mid-20s. I'll double check and let you know.
Look, actually,
yeah, but she is a smoker and drinker. She immediately gets out the cigarettes. Oh, good smoke, getting high after a fine day's work.
Yeah, it's described to be in her mid-20s.
Yep.
Yeah. She's on the booze as well. She's a bit of a druggie, seems like it. I don't know, but just rewarding herself. But yeah, it's crazy. So and it's so the voice on the phone that Item seemingly apprehended in the epilogue was just a decoy, because apparently she is the true voice on the phone. She is whether she's the voice on the phone in the present in Index is unclear. I don't think so. I think she might be taken out by then.
It's said that she has like multiple
probably
people
got it away from me that she
going.
was probably the idol handler that they have dealt with was the last line where it said, honestly, it's always like this with you, because she kept saying that to Mugino throughout, like, during like the Sisters arc and OT-15 and whatnot.
Yeah. So in one of the parts, shortly after she returns and starts smoking and whatnot, she looks at her monitors or whatever, and she says, "One of my decoys has disappeared. How thoughtful of you, Mugino," referring to the girl on the phone that Mugino just killed.
Yeah.
So you can assume that one of many. So for all we know, she could have been manipulating Member through that guy on the phone. Like, who knows?
Yeah, but because she says that line in like Railgun, so we can assume that is Hanano still alive in like the present, or is she still the voice on the phone from that line?
I would assume so.
Oh,
it's just they don't realize it.
Yeah. I just wonder how it's going to be expanded upon, though, because I guess it will be if we obviously get more volumes in that, but I'm just wondering, because it seems like Hanano is a pretty important character just to be relegated to, like, the voice on the phone for, like, the main timeline, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, especially after Handcuffs, like... Like, there's so many questions in the air for this character. And just... Now you have to question every person on the phone in the series.
Yep.
Yeah, true. I mean, I'm just really looking forward to hopefully getting more volumes of this and finding out more about Hanano, because I'm really curious about this character. And what I liked was, obviously, she's looking at the windowless building and she's on the phone herself, and I think she might be talking to Alistair. I've got a
That's what
hunch.
I thought.
Yeah.
That was my assumption.
Yeah, so Alistair was behind this item versus item thing.
Because
For whatever reason.
she mentioned whoever she was talking to had surveillance to cameras that no one else did or whatever, and it seemed like they always, and that could only be Alistair using the whatever it was from Battle Royale.
Yeah, and she was looking at the Windows building, so there you go.
Yeah. Though this, like, my one complaint with the illustration arts is, like, after this reveal, you see her illustration, and it's like, this person is not in her mid-20s at all. She's, like, clearly 4 years younger than Mugino.
Yeah.
Maybe she couldn't. Yeah.
Fountain of Youth.
Man, that's. Yeah.
But yeah, I do agree with you on that illustration. Like, she doesn't look. Like
it very much
20s.
betrays the words of what Kamachi just said.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. But yeah, that's the end of the volume, I guess. Is anything else you want to say about the ending, or?
The ending was the best part to me. Like, I think the first half, I wasn't quite as engrossed in it until they sort of ran into the other item. That's sort of whenever my intrigue really peaked in the novel, and I sort of was more interested in what was happening. And then from, like, basically from Hanano's, like, explosion onwards, everything was just super good.
Yeah, fair. Full, anything else you want to say?
Not really. If we get a volume 2, please, that would be great.
Yeah, pray to God. We need more Kamachi, please. We need more.
Do you think the manga spinoff, do you think it'll be a direct adaptation of this, or do you think it could be a continuation?
I could see it both. I could either see it like as a direct adaptation, and if it goes well, it can get more, like, continue onward.
It seems very odd for it to get an adaptation that would just be a 1-for-1, unless it was planned to be a long-running project, or if it was planning on doing its own thing with the adaptation.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah. It also makes you wonder, like, why this spin-off didn't happen sooner, because this was honestly brilliant, and it just makes you wonder, like, why didn't this happen when Index 3 came out or something? Like, I don't know why it's taken this long to write an item story that of this quality as well. Like, what's going on? Why now of all times?
Also, it's crazy that this is the first spin-off that's been just as a novel first and not a manga.
Yeah.
It's very strange, isn't it? What's going on? What's Kamachi and Dengeki
None of the
Bunko
Railgun
cooking?
novels have ever been adapted in the Railgun manga, as far as I can remember. So
Yeah, mad. So I think we already mentioned, like, our overall thoughts about the volume, and obviously we all want more, just give us more. But
yeah.
So I think we all rated the volume. Like, I gave it a 10. I know. I think you gave it a 9.
I think we rated it before we actually started the stream.
Yeah.
I was a 9.
For me, the
8.
volume was an 8. Yeah.
Always a critic, Mal. Never easily pleased.
Yeah, it's because I know, to me, I hold the standard of, like, a 10 to be, like, NT9 type novels. Like, because I know how high the peaks can get for the series. So I don't want to, like, just willy-nilly give anything
Come
a 10
on.
just because I really liked it.
You can't expect an NT9 quality from an item prequel spin-off off the bat.
Yeah, I
Come
can't
on.
expect it. That's why I gave it an 8.
Yeah, but you gotta judge it for what it is.
Yeah, I know. And I judged it an 8 because it wasn't
fuck off.
the peak.
Whatever.
Usually I just sparingly give out my 10s unless it really, really grabs me. So also is like so I don't constantly give out tens to about every volume I absolutely adore or something.
Yeah, that's what
Like, sure,
Alice
I'm not
does.
like sure this is like I'm never yeah, sure, like I've honestly had this volume as a 9 because the only issue I had is that some of the counter effect item members could have been a bit more like before they died.
Fleshed out.
Yeah, like a bit more to themselves before we, see them get melted.
No one complained about that in Battle Royale when everyone's dying left, right, and centre. But I suppose you had Kakine. But Kakine never had the chance of. Well, never. We never knew if he was going to come back or not. So, but there you go. All in retrospect.
Well, we knew Kakine would have some importance later on because he was a level 5. I don't think Inoue whatever is going to be suddenly come back and be like, oh, you remembered how important she was.
Kind of thing I could see probably maybe at some point during the Railgun manga or something. If they're still going to be on the flashback stuff.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, maybe. I don't really know what you would do with... I don't know. I guess there's potential for that item to show up. Oh, your microphone's quiet again.
Well, yeah. Yep.
Anyways, you were saying?
I mean, I could see her being like a background element or something.
Maybe.
like we just see her for like a panel or two.
Yeah, I just don't see them being like fleshed out really beyond what we got here.
To acknowledge that's, I think, the main important thing.
Only time will tell, I guess. Anyway, shall we call it a day or
no Q&A?
Yeah, we can do a Q&A. Go on then. Fine. If you have any questions, then now's your chance. If you don't, then fair enough. We'll see. Your mic's cutting out again.
Oops, sorry.
We will wait a few minutes, but yeah, I mean, do we have any hopes for Volume 2 while we wait? I mean, in terms of what you'd like to see, or...
I'm hoping for a bit more exploration on Kinemata.
There is one thing I wonder. What would be the first time Frenda ever pissed Mugino off?
I imagine she got very mad at her the first time they met. I can't imagine Frenda making
or
the best
maybe
impression.
They could explain how Frenda herself joined Item.
They did sort of make that a mystery in it, like...
Yeah.
Like, she's somebody who doesn't really belong on the dark side, but is simply there.
Yeah, because she was the only one of the current members of Item that doesn't have a, how they got to where they were today kind of thing.
Yeah. I think something that really stuck out to me is in the question mark chapter, or whatever they're called, the post afterward chapter, whenever he's Hanano's reflecting on Item, showing that she was happy, like she seems to be emotionally invested in the item, the real Item. But she also made a point to note that, let me see what the spiffit, however she, near the end of the chapter, she says, in a sense, the Item member who frightens me the most is Frenda Sevelin, however you pronounce it, because she's so sociable and unpredictable and makes friends out of, in just about every industry. I have a much better feel for her now that I've met her in person. I need to add a caution tag to her file, and I have to do something about her eventually. So part of me wonders if she felt Frenda had to be dealt with during the Battle Royale arc.
That's a good point.
Who knows? Anyway, I think we will call it a day.
Hi.
But yeah, thank you for watching, everyone. Appreciate your support as always. I hope you enjoyed listening to our spoiler discussion of the volume. And if you haven't checked it out for whatever reason and you've listened to all the spoilers, then what are you doing? But make sure you check out the volume yourself. And yeah, let's hope for future volumes. Can't wait. And of course, we've got GT8 next month, which is going to be very exciting.
Thank freaking God.
Oh, yeah, I know, about time. And that's going to be hype as hell. Like, oh, I'm looking forward to that.
God.
Alistair, do not let me down. But yeah. All right. Take care, everyone. Hope you had a good Easter. Enjoy your chocolate eggs and all that. Take care. And make sure you check out Mal's Twitter and Fullmetal's Twitter in the description below.